Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was the target of an attack involving an unknown liquid during a public event she was hosting on Tuesday, according to Minneapolis police. The incident occurred when an individual in the audience used a syringe to spray a substance toward the Congresswoman while she was speaking. Authorities confirmed that Omar was not injured and that she continued with the event despite the disruption. Law enforcement officials said the substance used in the attack has not yet been identified, and forensic testing is underway to determine its nature. Police reported that the suspect, identified as 55-year-old Anthony James Kazmierczak, was taken into custody at the scene and has since been charged with third-degree assault. He is currently being held by the local sheriff's office. Investigators said the syringe was used to spray liquid in Omar's direction, but no immediate medical emergency was reported as a result of the incident. A journalist from the BBC who was present at the event noted that the liquid emitted a sour odor resembling that of a chemical product, though authorities have not confirmed what the substance was. Following the attack, Omar later addressed the incident publicly through a post on social media, stating that she was unharmed and emphasizing that the act would not deter her from continuing her work. She described herself as resilient and made clear that she would not allow intimidation to interfere with her duties as an elected official. Officials at the scene urged her to conclude the event early for safety reasons, but Omar declined and chose to proceed with the gathering. The event, described as a town hall, was attended by approximately 100 people and was held in a basement location in North Minneapolis. Attendees had gathered to hear Omar speak about the presence of federal immigration officials in their community and to ask questions regarding recent fatal shootings involving U.S. citizens during encounters with immigration and border enforcement personnel. These incidents have sparked protests locally and drawn attention nationwide. During her remarks earlier in the event, Omar, a Democrat, strongly criticized federal immigration enforcement policies and called for the abolition of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, commonly known as ICE. She also directed criticism toward Kristi Noem, a key ally of U.S. President Donald Trump and the head of the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE. Omar stated that Noem should either resign or face impeachment over recent events in Minnesota. It was shortly after making these comments that the attack occurred. As the suspect was escorted from the room by security following the incident, he reportedly made a statement accusing Omar of causing division, though police said it was not immediately clear what he meant. Officers confirmed that the suspect was arrested without further incident and that the scene was secured for forensic examination. President Trump has been involved in ongoing disputes with Minnesota's Democratic leadership and has frequently criticized Omar directly. Earlier on Tuesday, before the attack, Trump addressed the situation in Minnesota following the second fatal shooting of a U.S. citizen during an immigration-related stop. He stated that his administration intended to reduce tensions in the state. The president has also previously made comments questioning Omar's patriotism, including remarks made to an audience in Iowa prior to the incident. Despite the disruption, Omar returned to the lectern after the attack and addressed the audience again. She asked attendees to remain calm and expressed her intention to continue the discussion, urging them not to allow the incident to derail the event. Audience members later described her decision to continue as an act of determination and resolve. This incident unfolded against a backdrop of heightened political tensions surrounding immigration enforcement in Minnesota, an issue that has drawn intense public scrutiny in recent months. As authorities continue to investigate the attack and its circumstances, attention remains focused on the broader context in which it occurred. In the next part of this report, we will examine in greater detail the political environment surrounding the event, the recent shootings that prompted public concern, and the reactions from officials and community members following Tuesday's incident. The attack on Congresswoman Ilhan Omar took place amid ongoing controversy and public concerns surrounding federal immigration enforcement activities in Minnesota. The town hall where the incident occurred had been organized to address growing unease within the local community, particularly following two fatal shootings of U.S. citizens during encounters with immigration and border enforcement officials. Those shootings have intensified scrutiny of federal operations in the state and prompted demonstrations as well as widespread public reaction beyond Minnesota. According to information cited during the event, one of the fatal incidents occurred in January when U.S. citizen Renee Good was shot and killed by an immigration officer. More recently, on Saturday, another U.S. citizen, Alex Preddy, was fatally shot after being stopped by border agents. These incidents have reignited protests in the Minneapolis area and have led to broader national attention focused on the conduct of immigration authorities. Residents attending Omar's town hall were expecting to hear explanations about the presence of federal immigration officials in their neighborhoods and to raise questions about accountability and policy. Earlier on Tuesday, President Donald Trump addressed the second fatal shooting and stated that his administration would seek to de-escalate a little bit in Minnesota. The president's remarks came as his administration continued an immigration crackdown in the state, an effort that began in December. That operation was launched following the conviction of some Somali immigrants in a large-scale fraud involving state welfare programs. Minnesota is home to the largest Somali immigrant community in the United States, making the issue particularly sensitive and politically charged in the region. Omar has been a vocal critic of the president's immigration policies and has consistently opposed federal enforcement actions in Minnesota. During the town hall, she reiterated her call for the abolition of immigration and customs enforcement, arguing against the agency's role in carrying out immigration operations. ICE has been under heightened scrutiny for its enforcement tactics, especially in light of the recent fatal encounters involving U.S. citizens. Omar's remarks place direct responsibility on the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE, and on its leadership. In her comments, Omar specifically criticized Kristi Noem, a prominent ally of President Trump, who leads the Department of Homeland Security. Omar stated that Noem should either resign from her position or face impeachment due to developments in Minnesota linked to immigration enforcement. It was shortly after these statements that the incident involving the syringe and unknown liquid took place. Authorities have confirmed the timing, but have not drawn conclusions about motive beyond the suspect's brief statement while being removed from the room. As law enforcement officers escorted the suspect out of the venue, he was heard saying that Omar was pitting us against each other. Police said the meaning of the statement was unclear and no further explanation was immediately available. Investigators have continued to examine the circumstances surrounding the attack, including the substance used, which remains unidentified. Forensic teams conducted tests at the scene, and officials have said the investigation is ongoing. Despite concerns expressed by event organizers and officials following the attack, Omar insisted on continuing the town hall. She addressed the audience, emphasizing that the discussion would proceed and encouraging those present to remain focused on the purpose of the gathering. She used language underscoring resilience and unity, stating that the community would move forward together. Her decision to continue speaking was met with support from some attendees who later commented on her determination to complete the event. One attendee, Alfred Flowers Jr., told the BBC that he respected Omar's decision to stay and finish the town hall, describing it as a demonstration of courage and commitment to the people who had come to hear her speak. The gathering ultimately concluded without further incident, according to authorities. Local leaders also responded publicly to the attack. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey addressed the incident on social media, stating that violence and intimidation have no place in the city. He emphasized that disagreements should not put people at risk and said such behavior would not be tolerated in Minneapolis. His statement reflected a broader condemnation of the incident from city officials. Omar frequently holds town hall meetings as part of her engagement with constituents, and Tuesday's event followed that established practice. The setting, a North Minneapolis basement, provided a space for residents to raise concerns directly with their representative during a period of heightened tension and uncertainty. As the investigation into the attack continues, attention has also turned to the wider political dynamics and history surrounding Omar and the federal response in Minnesota. Those broader issues and their background will be examined further in the next part of this report. The events surrounding the attack on Congresswoman Ilhan Omar are closely tied to a broader political and social context that has shaped tensions in Minnesota in recent months. Omar has been a prominent and outspoken figure in national debates over immigration policy, and her position has frequently placed her in direct opposition to President Donald Trump and his administration. These tensions have been particularly visible in Minnesota, where federal immigration enforcement actions have drawn criticism from Democratic officials and concern from local communities. President Trump has repeatedly clashed with Minnesota's Democratic leadership and has often singled out Omar for criticism. Prior to Tuesday's attack, the president made remarks at a public event in Iowa in which he stated that immigrants to the United States must demonstrate that they can love and be proud of the country, adding a comment that referenced Omar by name. These remarks followed a pattern of public statements in which Trump has directly criticized the Congresswoman. Earlier this month, the president also posted comments on his Truth Social platform targeting Omar. In that post, he wrote that she should be in jail or face a harsher punishment and suggested that she be sent back to Somalia, which he described using derogatory language. Omar, who was born in Somalia, has previously been the subject of similar remarks from Trump, who has referred to her using terms such as radical, left lunatic, and disgusting. These statements have been widely reported and form part of the backdrop against which Tuesday's town hall took place. The federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota began in December after several Somali immigrants were convicted in a large fraud case involving state welfare programs. The operation has since expanded and drawn heightened attention, in part because Minnesota is home to the largest Somali immigrant population in the United States. As enforcement activity increased, so did public scrutiny, particularly following the fatal shootings of U.S. citizens during encounters with immigration and border officials earlier this year. The January shooting of Renee Good by an immigration officer marked a turning point in public awareness of these operations. The more recent shooting of Alex Preddy on Saturday further intensified reactions, leading to renewed protests and widespread public outcry. These incidents were central topics at Omar's town hall, where attendees sought answers about federal actions in their community and accountability for the loss of life. During the event, Omar directly connected these incidents to leadership at the federal level. Her call for the abolition of immigration and customs enforcement reflected long-standing criticism of the agency's role and methods. By placing responsibility on the Department of Homeland Security and its secretary, Kristi Noem, Omar framed the issue as one requiring significant political consequences. Her statement that Noem should resign or face impeachment underscored the seriousness of her criticism and marked a key moment in the event. It was shortly after these remarks that the attack occurred. Authorities have confirmed that the suspect, Anthony James Kazmierczak, used a syringe to spray an unidentified liquid toward Omar. He was immediately restrained and removed from the room by security. While being escorted out, he made a statement accusing Omar of causing division, though officials have said it remains unclear what he intended by that comment. Police have not provided further details about his motivations. Following the incident, law enforcement officials conducted forensic examinations at the scene. They have stated that the substance involved has not yet been identified and that testing is ongoing. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the liquid, officials confirmed that Omar was not physically harmed and did not require medical treatment. In the immediate aftermath, officials urged Omar to end the event for safety reasons. However, she declined and returned to the lectern. Addressing the audience, she asked for calm and requested additional time to continue the discussion. She emphasized the importance of not allowing the disruption to dominate the event and encouraged attendees to remain engaged. The town hall proceeded without further incident. Reactions from those present reflected support for Omar's decision to continue. Attendees described the atmosphere as tense but controlled, and several expressed appreciation for her willingness to remain and answer questions. The event concluded as planned, and authorities confirmed that there were no additional threats reported that evening. As the investigation continued, the focus also remained on Omar's long-standing role in national politics. Her prominence, her outspoken criticism of federal immigration policy, and her history of being targeted by political opponents all contributed to the significance of the incident. In the final part of this report, we will review Omar's background, the official responses following the attack, and how this event fits into the broader narrative surrounding political discourse and public safety in Minnesota. As the investigation into Tuesday's attack continues, attention has also turned to the broader context of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's public role and the official responses that followed the incident. Omar has been a regular host of town hall meetings, a format commonly used in the United States to allow constituents to engage directly with their elected representatives. The event in North Minneapolis was consistent with that practice, drawing residents who were seeking information and clarity during a period of heightened concern over immigration enforcement and public safety. Authorities confirmed that approximately 100 people were in attendance at the basement venue where the town hall was held. Those present had gathered expecting to hear Omar address the presence of federal immigration officials in their community and to discuss the recent fatal shootings involving U.S. citizens during encounters with immigration and border enforcement personnel. The meeting unfolded in an atmosphere shaped by fear, anger, and uncertainty following weeks of protests and national attention focused on Minnesota. After the attack, Minneapolis police reiterated that the suspect, Anthony James Kazmierczak, was immediately arrested and charged with third-degree assault. He remains in custody, according to the local sheriff's office. Police have stated that forensic testing is ongoing to identify the substance used in the attack. No additional details about the liquid have been released, and officials have emphasized that the investigation remains active. City leaders moved quickly to publicly condemn the incident. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey issued a statement on social media declaring that violence and intimidation have no place in the city. He stressed that disagreements can occur without placing people in danger and made clear that such conduct would not be tolerated. His remarks reflected a broader stance from local officials emphasizing public safety and the protection of democratic processes. Despite the disruption, Omar's decision to continue the town hall remained a central point of discussion after the event. Returning to the lectern, she addressed attendees directly, requesting time to continue speaking and urging the audience not to allow the incident to overshadow the purpose of the gathering. Her remarks focused on perseverance and maintaining focus on the issues at hand. The event ultimately concluded without further incident, and no additional arrests or threats were reported. Omar later addressed the attack publicly through social media, confirming that she was not injured and stating that the incident would not prevent her from continuing her work. Her message underscored resilience and rejection of intimidation. These statements were shared widely and became part of the public record surrounding the event. The attack occurred against a backdrop of long-standing political tension between Omar and President Donald Trump. Omar has been a frequent critic of the president, particularly regarding immigration policy. Trump has repeatedly targeted Omar in public remarks, including comments made earlier this month on his Truth Social platform and statements delivered at campaign events. These remarks have included personal attacks and references to her background. While these comments did not directly reference the attack, they form part of the broader political environment in which the incident took place. Omar's background has also been highlighted in coverage of the event. In 2019, she became the first Somali American, the first African-born American, and one of the first 2 Muslim American women elected to serve in the United States Congress. Her election marked a historic milestone and established her as a prominent national figure. Since then, she has remained an influential voice on immigration and social justice issues. The federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota, launched in December, continues to be a central issue for residents and officials alike. Initiated after convictions related to fraud in state welfare programs, the operation has disproportionately affected communities with large immigrant populations, including Minnesota's Somali community. The recent fatal shootings have intensified scrutiny of federal enforcement actions and prompted renewed calls for accountability. As of now, authorities have not announced any changes to security procedures for future events hosted by Omar or other officials. Police have stated that the investigation into Tuesday's attack is ongoing and that further information will be released as it becomes available. For now, the focus remains on identifying the substance used, determining the full circumstances of the incident, and ensuring public safety. This concludes our report on the attack involving Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at a town hall event in Minneapolis. The incident has raised concerns about safety, political discourse, and the impact of heightened tensions in the community. Officials continue to investigate, and local leaders have reiterated their commitment to maintaining order and protecting public engagement across the city.